The storm howled that night. Oh, a wild, angry beast, clawing at the thin walls of Paul Everett's small, lonely world. Inside the apartment, the quiet he usually loved now felt heavy, suffocating. He was 27's, a mechanic. His hands spoke fluent, broken engine, but barely knew how to hold a real conversation. Days were grease, steel, repetition. Nights were the low drone of an old television, and the slow fade of high school friends into forgotten text messages. But tonight, the loneliness wasn't just quiet. It ached. Deep, a hunger he'd never let himself name. Then the phone buzzed. Sharp, cutting through the rain. Pamela Foster. The name struck harder than thunder. Pamela. Math class. Shared umbrellas. The girl who always talked about running away, while he stayed behind, fixing things that were falling apart. She had married, moved on. Her life became something he only glimpsed through cold, curated photos on a screen. Why now? The clock said 10:17. Pam. His voice came out rough. Careful. Is everything okay? Silence. Just rain drumming. Then her voice. Small. Cracked. Barely holding together. Paul? Can you come get me? He locked me out again. His stomach twisted hard. Locked out. In this storm, he didn't need the rest of the story. Her voice was already bleeding. Where are you? Send the address. I'm coming. Right now. Keys. Jacket half on. The old Ford growled awake, like it understood urgency. The drive was frantic wipers, black wet streets, and her broken voice looping in his head. Safe. He just needed to get her safe. He saw her from half a block away. A small, soaked shape huddled under a porch. 2 duffel bags at her feet like defeated soldiers. Pam. His voice cracked through the rain. She turned, eyes wide, red, and then relief, so raw it hurt to look at. Paul, you came. Of course I did. He pulled off his jacket, draped it over her shaking shoulders. A thin, useless shield against the wind. Let's get you out of here. He lifted one bag. Their fingers brushed, just for a second. But it felt like the first real thing he'd touched in years. In the truck, wet clothes dripped. The heater roared. She sniffled quietly. He wanted to ask everything, wanted to curse the man who'd done this, but he swallowed it all. She didn't need anger right now. She needed steady. So he drove, silent, present, back at the apartment. The hallway light felt softer than usual, like it knew someone fragile had come home. He pressed a towel into her cold hands, handed her sweatpants and his biggest hoodie. Here, get warm. I'll make tea. When she stepped out of the bathroom, drowned in his clothes, she looked impossibly small, but also, somehow, a little less broken. She curled on the couch, cradling the mug, steam rising like a quiet prayer. Thank you, Paul, she whispered. I didn't know who else to call. He sat across from her, leaning in just enough. You never have to thank me for this. You stay here tonight. No one's touching you again. His words were low, steady, a vow wrapped in flannel and storm scent. She looked at him then, really looked. Tears slipped free, but she nodded. And in that small motion, they both knew it wouldn't be just tonight. The rest of the story would unfold slowly, like dawn after the longest night, with coffee she made while he slept, with bruises he pretended not to see, with nights she flinched at every sound, and mornings she smiled a little more, with one brave sentence in a carport, with papers signed, with wildflowers on the table, with hands that learned carefully, patiently, how to hold without holding too tight. And eventually, with a quiet moment on a balcony, autumn air cool against their skin, fingers laced, no need for grand words, just the simple, fierce truth. I'm glad I called you that night. Me too. And under the stars, in the soft glow of the apartment behind them, two scarred people finally understood. Love doesn't always arrive wearing fireworks. Sometimes it arrives wearing rain-soaked clothes, carrying two duffel bags, and whispering the bravest question of all. Can you come get me? And the answer, steady, unshaken, through every storm that followed, was always yes.